Hi, my name is Nolan Runkle. What do you think the worst possible first impression you can make with someone is? Now, let's suppose that this person, you've had a big crush on them for a while. Now, can you imagine how embarrassing it would be if you started crying in front of them completely by accident? This is the story about a horrible first date I had with a guy I liked, but more specifically, the sleep-deprived series of choices happening 24 hours before the self-inflicted catastrophe. Almost everyone has had a lackluster romantic experience, whether it ended tragically or never started wonderfully. Don't torment yourself too terribly, whatever the reason, I know how it feels. The best thing you can do is try to move on, but when it was so brutally embarrassing, it's hard not to think about it. October 2021, I started talking to a guy over a dating app for around 2 months. After our schedules sync up, mid-November, we decided to meet around State Street, Santa Barbara, around 1 p.m. This is the first time I had been on a date since moving to Santa Barbara, and I'm not a very sociable person, so you can imagine how daunting this process was. At this time in 2021, I was working as a line cook at one of the restaurants at the Ritz-Carlton Resort property in Goleta. If you have ever worked in a kitchen, you will know that almost always there is that one common thread between chefs. They love smoking. The night before the big date, I come home stressed because of the long day of work. When you're a college student and you're stressed out, what do? You smoke weed. 9 p.m., the day before the date, I go to clean out the little bowl piece of my pipe by blowing the ash into the trash can. I put my mouth to the mouthpiece and blow. When microseconds later, I recoiled like something bit me. A piece of ash had ricocheted off the trash can and lodged itself perfectly in my left eye. I wince, and my eye starts tearing up and forces itself shut. At this point, it's too late in the night, so I figure I would try to sleep it off. It not only didn't go away, but it interrupted my sleep schedule multiple times that night. In the morning, I not only was still crying, but now I had no sleep and my eye was blood red. 10 in the morning, I went to the urgent care clinic that had a short notice appointment available. After the meeting, there was no immediate solution, and my time was coming to a close. I dejectedly grabbed my darkest pair of sunglasses, and I drove home. I meticulously racked my brain, thinking of the right string of words I could use in a text to this guy, explaining that I would be crying the whole time as a result of a self-inflicted incident. When you know something is hopeless, do you just give up, or do you try and hold on to what you can still control? As I pulled my car into the parking garage, I suppose that my circumstances were undeniably uncharismatic. I figure I can still control what I can, but there's no use dwelling on what already happened. The only thing I can still do is try and have fun. No one tells you that when you start crying tears, accident or on purpose, your nose also starts crying snot. I try and take control of what I possibly can, all while sobbing and sniffling. I pay for the meal. I try and ask questions. I laugh about my situation. At least I can control those things. After 1 hour of non-stop thrills and laughs in downtown Santa Barbara, this guy mentions that he forgot he has an appointment that he has to leave for. Knowing what this is code for, I, with my last remaining semblance of enthusiasm, ask if he would want to try this again. The very last words he said to me before he ceased all contact with me ingrained in my mind, "Yeah, sure, I'll see you later." I hope after laying bare my most embarrassing dating story, you can find some solace knowing that you're not alone in having a horrible dating experience. The purpose of my speech is to enlighten the audience by recounting a series of unfortunate events all accumulating into my simultaneous worst date and most embarrassing experience. After the date, I went back home to involuntarily cry some more. And maybe this is one hell of a coping mechanism, but at the end, it was his loss. Thank you so much.